Hey everyone, this is James with Dicecasters on our series of solo play. We're kind of just talking about our favorite character moments, and I'm gonna go into depth about my character Neo, which we might have heard about on different videos and different occasions. But this is kind of just more of an in-depth story on how he came to fruition, I guess. Um, so basically, Neo started out as basically this neutral blob, more or less. He kind of just hung out with the party. You know, creatures attacked the party, he would attack back. I can't quite remember who the face of the group was, but it was not me. And he would kind of interact with the quest givers and stuff, and kind of get the ball rolling, while my guy kind of just tagged along. Well, we eventually got to this point where we interrogated some orcs or goblins or some. Actually, no, I think it was hobgoblins or something like that. And we're trying to get information from them, and we're kind of brainstorming like, oh, how can we get information? And immediately I go like, well, torture is a good way. And because they're quote unquote subhuman, or like not us, I guess, so it's okay. Anyway, we start torturing these hobgoblins for information, and Neo's kind of taking it to the extreme, as he's I guess he's still kind of more robotic, I guess, where he is trying to get information. He's not trying to be morally right, morally wrong. He's just trying to get it out of them. And it gets to a point where the party is, like, hey, we're going a little too much here. One of the hobgoblins are trying to, after I got all the information out of them, it was time to dispose of them in one way or another. And Neo decided it was probably better just to kill them there, so they can't get away and tell them they're his friends where we're at and all that. So that kind of started his path to being evil. And, it was meant to be a good campaign, so I later felt bad because I kind of derailed a lot of things. But luckily, it kind of fell in line with what the DM was hoping to accomplish. And so these tendencies kind of continue throughout the campaign. Neo's just kind of doing what he will, regardless of moral consequences. And eventually I come along the class of Thrallherd, which we kind of have a discussion about, off game, about whether that's a good or evil thing, because in the description of the class it doesn't say you have to be evil for it, but you are submitting a subconscious wave of someone to follow you and help you out. Whereas, if you're a leader in the game, that's more so someone thinking that you are a great person and they just want to follow you. Whereas the Thrallherd is more of a subconscious, like almost brainwashy kind of thing. So I take that, and everyone says, well, if you take that, you're probably evil of some sort. So I'm like, okay, I'm already partially committed to this, so now I'll be fully committed. So I take the Thrallherd. I have a companion. He kind of just rolls up to town with the party. He's kind of just, hey, I'm here to help Neo. And everyone's like, okay, whatever. Like, why do you like Neo so much? I just do. And then everyone just kind of rolled with it. And, eventually, going full evil, we come across these abandoned churches. And one was good, one was evil, and I think one was in the middle somewhere. And, I saw the evil church. I'm like, hey, let's renovate it and make it better, make it cooler. And it's like a church to the god that we came up with, Gwarthos, who's like this, evil guy. He likes child sacrifice, bad guy. And so I get the whole church renovated. All my followers are in, because Thrallherd gives you a set amount of followers that just love you for no reason. And thinking about it more in depth, a bunch of people rushing into this renovated evil church might have raised more eyebrows than what we had going on in the campaign. Although it was like kind of a barren type of type of campaign where a lot of people had busy work to do anyway to kind of keep the town going. But yeah, all my followers are there. I find this like demon succubi like creature there, and he was like this old church member who was just loves to help people sacrifice children, and wants to keep the church going and praises God. And basically I was just going to praise this God because hopefully that ends up in more power for me in some way. So now the evil kind of cranks up another notch, where I get the gist that this God loves child sacrifice. So to get the most children to sacrifice to this God, I had my followers, procreate more or less, and it was basically like a farm to keep these sacrifices going to this evil God. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, but he was an evil character. This is a role-playing game. That's what he's gonna do. And that keeps going, and that keeps going. And most of the party, most of the party is suspicious of Neo, but they don't outright hate him yet. And there's another campaign party member who is trying to be evil as well, but his execution wasn't as secretive, and he tried to ask Neo for help, like, please help me, everyone's on to me, I need to get out of the situation, and Neo just can't help him out and just ends up taking him out. He was too much of a liability to even help him. Eventually the party catches on. There's a DM / player who's kind of investigating Neo in a way, or kind of is aware of the situation, and he kind of sets up this trap or this plan to kind of get Neo off guard. And Neo can kind of teleport, he can do lots of damage, he can do all these things, but he wasn't exactly prepared for something that would strip half of his power from him. So in that scenario where he had that taken from him and he couldn't teleport out, he only had the option between drinking this vial that would kill him, or going to jail or something like that. I believe I drank the vial, and I was unconscious for a little bit. He had the option to side with his god Gwarthos, who was more or less going to torture him for eternity until he became a devil. Or I could side with the Master, who was... I'm not entirely sure of all the minutiae of it, but he was more of the... He's basically what Neo was trying to be, but more at an advanced level. So I eventually joined with the Master, and that's kind of where his story continues from there. And yeah, this has been story time, and I'll catch you all later.